Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers. It's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Wow, you can't buy her and tame like that on Broadway.
Thank God.
Kaz Kwiatkowski, City Council, with his good friend.
DJ Barker, Cat TV.
And we actually have a phone caller.
Hey, phone call.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, you were on the school board, weren't you?
Yes, a while back.
Maybe you could answer this for me. I noticed in the paper and on the news lately, there's going to be 5 schools that's for sale.
Yes.
And that's a total of 8 schools that are closed. And 67 teachers have been eliminated.
I don't know the exact number, but I heard there was quite a few.
Now, how could the school board ask for increase in school taxes when you got 8 schools closed and 67 teachers without a job?
Not having been there, I don't know what their reasoning is. The only thing I can say is that, not being there, I do know that there's a little issue with the subsidy they're receiving from the state. We used to get one regularly, and it was upgraded from year to year, but from what you read in the paper, it's been held at the same level with expenses increasing, and I don't know what the effect is of where they even, I believe they got a windfall from the state, but I'm not sure if it came in yet. But those would be the questions you'd have to ask, like, has their revenue remained flat from the Commonwealth, or have they got their subsidy increased? But yeah, it should have went with, there's going to be a reduction in staff, but at the same time, with negotiations and contracts, the pay of some of the other teachers and the deals they worked out with the non-bargaining people will probably have an effect too.
Yeah, you think either the taxes should be lowered or, stay the same. It's the same thing that a lot of, concerned citizens have even about, our water bills.
Yeah, what I'd have to do is I have to get a copy of their budget, the audited one, and then check out what their revenue flow is like and where their expenses, because those are good questions. With 8 schools down, I mean, they're going to keep them minimally heated, but and they have to maintain them to some minor degree.
There's five of them up for sale, and they got possible bidders for nursing homes.
Yeah, schools are a tough thing to get rid of. They're just like a lot of people think like when they get rid of box stores up on Peach Street, they're easy to sell, but a lot of companies, a lot of businesses don't like the way they're laid out. But yeah, a school could make a nice, like they did with Columbus, they can make a nice housing development, for various components of the community, or like you say, a nursing home, because the rooms can be subdivided a little bit.
I would love one of those schools for our makerspace, like an art house.
Yeah, if you could get one, but
it'd be great.
Yeah, that's the same thing with the water. Mm-hmm. Remember how many people were delinquent? Now they're talking about raising the water rates.
Oh yeah, that never goes away. I mean, we're collecting more of the back money, but
weren't they charging people more because they weren't getting the water bills from the people who were delinquent?
Well, that has an effect on them, yes. I mean, the fact that if the revenue's not coming in, that makes it tougher on everybody else.
So now they're getting the money in, and they're going to raise it up again.
Well, they're going to tell you that they're expanding service and their costs have gone up too. That's what they'll tell you.
Someone always has an excuse, huh?
Well, the only way you can really tell is you have to look at, like if they say chlorine is going up, well, then you look at the actual cost of what they paid for it. But you know that, just costs of labor, the costs of utilities have gone up a little bit. But are they charging more than they should for those increases,
I like your comments just about every week.
Which one's that?
About the shotgun. You shoot the shotgun, and this one has an idea, and that one has an idea, And all these school boards and the water company, they always come up with an answer for the people, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I just get frustrated when you got 8 or 9 organizations. They're worried about like keeping business in town. But you got this group and that group and that group, and they're all talking about what they're doing, and yet they still leave. And I'm thinking, isn't it better to speak with one voice and just say, what do you need out of us? What do you need for you to move into this town? Is there something we can give to you, or what? Yeah. But we never get that answer. I mean, I hear like frustration when. Take a prime example is Wegmans. They're built on the border of 2 communities, Summit and Mill Creek. And then, when they come here and do business, they got to deal with 2 communities, a county. And I'm going, wow, there was one guy one time told me, one voice, one department, you can get things done quicker than, you got to talk to 12 different people. And
yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, but sometimes what makes sense doesn't always happen.
So how do we make it happen?
The guy that's at the top has to make those rules.
Whoa.
But, I'll try to find out if I can get a copy of the school board budget. I'll take a look at it for you.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention is about all these immigrants that are coming into Erie.
Right.
We were all immigrants, right?
Yes, true.
But the ones that are coming in, I won't say what culture or whatever, but they're getting everything free. The government is telling them free. The welfare office is telling them they're paying $179 a month for rent. They get $650 a month for food stamps. They get SSI and all this other stuff, and then these doctors are telling maybe the husband or the wife sick, and the husband or the wife takes care of the other one. They're paying them $12 an hour, 12 hours a day to stay home.
What I want to do, and I've been trying to get somebody to come on the show.
Look, when our ancestors came over, we had to go to work. Nothing. The only thing we got was cheese and a line.
Well, I remember I checked my grandfather's immigration papers, and on there was the point of where he was coming in. They wanted to know where he was going to settle in the city or EPA.
Yeah.
It had a cousin that he was going to live with, and it even had a job, given to him.
Yeah.
They had to have like a, promise of work, a residence, and a means to stay here.
Yeah.
And today, I hear all these things, and I say, I don't know what the answer is. I've been trying to get someone here from either the International Institute or somebody that's familiar with it, because I know there's been lots of questions, just like the ones you're asking.
Yeah, you have to get a hold of somebody from St. Benedictine's, the old St. Mary's on East 10th Street.
Right.
You have to call there and get somebody.
I want somebody to answer me these questions, truthfully, because I hear they don't pay taxes, and I don't know the answer. I really don't. And I hear, they get this and that, and I don't know the whole answer, but I think there's so many people out there asking that we should know.
Oh, just like myself, I'm 73 years old. I got a car that's 15 years old, and these Nepali people and these people from Iraq and Kenya, they come over here and they got all brand new cars every year.
I will tell you about the Nepalis that I dealt with, and we had a few here at work. They both people were working, and I was. They used to come up to me and ask me if I'd write them letters of recommendation, and a lot of them are either working in, like for Nick Scott, up in the hotels.
Oh yeah, they're good workers.
Matter of fact, or they're working at the casino, whatever. But then other people tell me there's other groups that you don't see the same ethic in,
Yeah, I'm still working, and we have 7 Nepalis working here. They're the best workers I've had working here.
Oh man, they came up to me and they said, "Can you write letters of recommendation?" I'm going, "Yeah, where are you going?" And you know, they work the plastics plants, the pie factories, and
Yeah, the reason why I mention them is because, you know, they tell me how the government and the welfare tells them how they could get money and what they could do.
well, I believe that. I had a friend that he and his wife were having a hard time, and they were on welfare, but he was working, okay? He just didn't make a lot of money, and he was working where I work, but he was like part-time, and they actually told him that if he would take his clothes and it looked like he abandoned his wife, she could get more money.
Oh, sure.
And I said, wow, you know. But, you know, he stood by that story, and he wouldn't do it, but, you know, there's part of the problem. The workers themselves want to keep their jobs, so, you know, there's a disincentive for you to help people get off, too.
Yeah, that's just like, you know, I was in the military. I was in the Marines, and I was eligible for the VA benefits.
Right.
And so I went in and I had surgery one time, and so then a couple months later, I guess the next year, you got to like fill out an application again.
Right.
I got disqualified. And I says, why did I get disqualified? They says, well, you're making too much money.
Jeez.
Well, I says, I do security work and I'm not making that much. They says, yeah, but your wife, she's a manager in a doctor's office, and we combined the incomes, what you're making and what she's making. I says, wait a minute. What does my wife have anything to do with it? She was never in the military, and she'll never get any benefits. They says, well, we had both incomes.
Jeez. Yeah, it doesn't seem like they like veterans.
So they denied me my veteran benefits because my wife was working. And I says, well, what could I do for the VA to help me out? You know what they told me?
What's that?
Get a divorce.
Yeah, jeez.
I says, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
Oh, well. Hey, I'll get back to you, okay?
Okay.
Hey, and thank you for your service. Being an Army guy won't hold you against you being a Marine, though.
But Ellis.
Hey, you know what? They just don't take care of the veterans like they used to, though.
Oh, that's for sure.
But, hey, thank you. I'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Cass.
Okay. Yeah, Army and Marine guys, we love to kibitz with each other.
Yeah, well, you guys both, you know, served your service, so.
Well, they're good guys. They are really
Yeah.
tough guys, too. Go ahead, caller.
Kaz, did you happen to go to the car show last Friday night?
No, I didn't. I had my family was up here from out of town.
Oh, hey. On every corner there was cars parked over the crosswalk,
Yeah.
and a cop gave them a ticket.
At the car show?
Yeah.
On State Street.
State Street, they had the horses up. All the cars were parked vertically. Cars going down the middle of the road. He should have ticketed all the cars double parking down State Street.
Why would, you know, at a car show where, I mean, don't they block I haven't gone to them in a couple of years. Don't they block the side streets off?
They put the horses up. They
Yeah.
blocked them.
I mean, as far as pedestrians go, you pretty much know the car show.
Right, and you had to obey the lights when you crossed 7th and 6th Street and all that.
So, I mean, by them blocking the crosswalk, were they,
It was parked.
they weren't blocking any cross traffic, were they?
No, they were blocking where people were supposed to cross in between the white lines.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, look, I know that's a letter of the law, but
Well, look, Kaz,
my God, when we have like Celebrate Erie and those things,
the cop was ticketing every car on every block. It was craziness.
wow, you know,
I'm going to tell you the truth.
yeah.
I seen the mayor, and I told him about it. And the mayor said he was going to take care of it, but I don't know if he did or not.
Well, you know, even from a PR standpoint, you know, I got to call Mr. Buchner about that because that.
Let's just talk to Joe, because I talked to Joe about it.
Yeah, it just.
I don't know if these guys should pay that $30 ticket or whatever it is.
Well, I would not tell anybody not to pay it until.
I think that cop that ticketed him, he should probably be walking a beat on 21st and Ash.
Well, I would think he in a lot of cases, he gets ordered by someone.
No, Joe said he didn't have any orders out to do that. He said, I didn't know nothing about it.
When was, you know, I got to check on a couple issues. When did that happen? Do you remember the date?
Night.
Huh?
Friday night car show.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me see now. Hang on a minute. Where am I? I got my calendar here.
I guess Friday night would be the 25th.
That was the 25th?
I said it was terrible. I won't even take my car down there next year. To hell with you.
But that was the 25th, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Today's the 28th, 27th.
Yeah, I'm out of it today. 25th, I got 25th,
you. Yep, Friday.
I will check, and if there are tickets, I'm going to ask the chief why the tickets were issued. You know, usually at shows like that, there's a hands-off. You know, usually they try to work with the people.
Common sense.
And if they were parking like that, they should have went to the promoter as a warning and says, you got to keep them inside the line or something.
You guys are in city council.
But we don't know about it but now I know about it and I'll check it for you.
Okay,
is this who I think it is? Kenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a call.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, usually, I'm not saying at things like that, unless they're, blocking like fire hydrants and stuff.
Right.
But
usually
you try to work with the promoter and, like Celebrate Erie, they were all over the place.
Everything's blocked off for that. I haven't heard of them giving tickets out for that unless,
one time they did.
Something.
I remember we had an open house at Central and they gave out tickets to all the parents because they were parked up on the sidewalk, but not actually sidewalk. Have you ever been to Central? There's like a dirt patch.
Yeah.
They were parked up there because it was when they merged the schools. They had so many people up there, they overflowed everything, parking lots and all. It was the first open house. Bad PR move.
Bad PR.
Especially when you go behind the Warner and they block off all French Street, nothing happens.
Oh, yeah.
For a show, right?
Yeah, all the big trucks.
That's what gets people mad. When you do inconsistent things.
Yeah.
And they go, what's not? Yes, it is the same thing. What you think is important and somebody else thinks is not important.
Right. You can't make everybody happy.
No, but you can try. You can look at things that don't make sense and say,
So were they supposed to park their trucks for the shows over there?
Well, here's the problem. That is a problem. But, when you do that, you gotta make sure you do it so it doesn't impede traffic too much.
Right. So like I said, do they have spots around the back they're supposed to park at?
They really don't. What they do is they try to, like in a big show, like when they bring the ice shows in, they'll park them alongside the arena.
Yeah.
But when they do the Warner show, and they unload the equipment, a lot of times that's a one-night show.
Yeah.
So they're unloading that same day maybe.
Right.
And then they're going to load, as the scenes are done, they start loading them literally.
Yeah.
If you watch them, it's like a choreography.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it's almost impractical for them to move the trucks, unless it's a 2-day show or something.
Right.
That's supposed to all be solved when we do the new the new Warner updates.
Yeah.
Because right now it's a mess back there, Yeah. But,
Are they planning to change that area so that could be dealt with?
What's that?
When they do, are they going to do Warner updates?
When they do the Warner updates, there's going to be a loading dock added.
Cool.
So it'll be up to date where they can actually bring big things in.
Oh, okay. Nice.
They can't bring anything large in now.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, for instance, if they did miss Saigon, they couldn't bring the helicopter in.
They should have just flew it in.
Well, they had to do a screen, but
yeah.
If with the new updates, they will actually be able to bring in large sets.
Yeah. Is that thing up to date enough? The last time I was in there, it was.
Well, the Warner's going to be when they get the money from the state. That's what they're working on. They got a commitment now. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
Wow.
Go ahead, caller.
Tell that guy to pay the ticket.
Why?
Because he was wrong.
Well, I don't know if he was wrong. I got to check. Usually, hey, look, if he's wrong, then when we close down the streets for Celebrate Erie, there's a lot of wrongs going on.
Oh, did I see him? I could not believe it. And there was no notification in the newspaper.
We got people vending liquor out in the streets and everything, and you talk about.
Because you have an open cam law down there that nobody enforces.
But there's a disagreement between the PLCB and what we think.
Well, the PLCB is.
Last
time I talked to Gary Dance, he said he
didn't want to get in the headache of the city of Erie.
Who's that, the PLCB?
Yep.
I can tell you this, 4 years ago, or 5, there was an incident involving a local businessman down there, and it took Representative Pat Harkins and I about 3 months to solve it for the guy. He got cited for something that everybody else was doing on the same street.
Well, the first thing we got to do is get rid of them stupid block parties.
Well, they did. They moved them into the parks now.
Yeah, by Joe's monkey cage.
Well, we have, I hear a lot of complaints about that. Okay? But if we didn't put the cage there, you know what would happen?
What would happen?
We would have the same complaints we had when we had the gazebo, which is we'd have to station a cop there 24/7 because they'd be camping out there, and I'll put this blunt to you. They were shooting up there.
Well, they were shooting up in Grizzly Park, too.
Yeah, I mean, they were, and I remember
Griswold, I'm sorry.
a good friend of mine rented that gazebo, and they had to clean it up, and there were some unsightly things there that were dangerous. I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, we don't have the manpower to be going there 24/7, and they literally, use it to camp out, to different things. So, I mean, when they built a new place, because they have equipment stored there, because there's actually rooms built into that thing, it was just decided that, hey, look, I don't disagree with what they did, because I know it may look like it's unsightly.
Is it our environment in the city of Erie?
Hey, look, I went to Chicago, and what's that big park they show on?
I can't think of it.
The one with El Bundy in them?
Yeah, I can't think
I think
of
that's Buckingham Park or something like that.
Something.
That's Buckingham Fountain, I think. But in that park, I remember we went down there, and they had these public restrooms. And I was walking to one with a police officer from Chicago. And we both had the same thing in mind. We got there, and it was locked. And he said, geez, I didn't even know they started locking these. So it's everywhere like that. It's just a problem.
To go. On one side of the street was the men, on the other side was the women. They had a caretaker down there constantly, a shoe shine guy.
Yeah, we don't do that no more, though. We.
Yeah, go to the northeast. Their park is nice.
Yeah, they do, but is a lot of it environment? I'll ask you. You go to some places that, they don't have the, and I hate.
East has the same thing going on we do here.
Apparently, though,
Have more brains.
Well, maybe they don't look. Our people get me about our policemen. Our policemen got more crime. They're out there doing other stuff. We almost need a separate police force.
That's all we need is a Gestapo.
Well, not a Gestapo, but we need a separate bunch of people that kind of like patrol the park.
Well, you got them downtown there now.
What's that?
Cannon police.
But are they going to go into the park? I don't, maybe that's something we got to talk to them about.
Yeah, get a hold of Fetterman. Sounds like to me that his kids were going to be jaywalking and crossing against everything, and they weren't going to do anything. They were just going to slap them on the hand.
I thought one of the best ideas that ever came up was, you got a sheriff that wants maybe his men could act as, they could do the stuff that our guys can't do. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the legislature won't let them do it.
Well, I talked to Pat Harkins about that, and I said, we need to help in the city. Look, we got 100 and some officers.
Call the state police.
And literally,
assess everybody $25.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, they're out there every night. They got heavier crime, and the little stuff starts slipping by. I mean, I admit that. You know that.
Yeah, it's a crime the way they do things.
I mean, I hate locking up things, but you know what? If you had what existed when we were young, those, the famous, what we're talking about, those rest facilities?
Yeah.
That'd never go today.
I don't know.
I mean, not like it did in our day. Hey, look, it was always troublesome.
The men's room.
Yeah, but,
And get a sweet little old lady with a hat and a knitting needle in the woman's room.
We need somebody named Helga with a...
Let's get down to business now.
What?
I watched the council meeting last night at 2 o'clock in the morning.
What, you bored or what?
The rerun.
Okay.
Sometimes I can't sleep. And I didn't get to watch the last time because I had eyeball shot.
Maybe I'll come over. Hey, what you should have been watching is a replay of the Browns-Giants. What's the matter, John?
I'll watch the good one tonight, the Yanks and the Indians. But as I say, I was watching the council meeting, and why are all these people after your insurance? Because they want to do a decent job down there and get on a tax roll. They just want a campus like Gannon does, but they're going to pay for theirs.
Yeah, well, so I gather you're in agreement with how we voted, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I was disappointed in I know I'll probably get written up, but that's okay. I was disappointed in the comments of the editorial board of the Times.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I even told Mr. Flowers when he was here, I said,
you said maybe we get around to having meetings.
Well, not that comment, but they asked me why we were voting, why didn't we demand to know from Erie Insurance what they were going to do?
It's not your business. You're just there to approve or disapprove the rezoning.
I mean, I wasn't on council, but I can remember they came to council at that time. They brought a rough sketch in of what they wanted to do. You kind of said it here. It's a campus. Now it flexes from time to time. They could draw a nice, pretty picture, and 10 years down the line, maybe that's out a little bit.
They're going to make it a campus. They're going to bring in agents, and they're going to live there.
Whatever they do, even if it changes from the original plan a little bit, it's not going to change to where you're not going to see them bring in laundromats or anything like that. You mean
like what's his name did up there with the car wash? He got that rezoned for a box club. Now it's up for sale. We'll build. It's rated C1.
Yeah, stuff like that. But
that is.
I mean, you said yourself, you got Erie Insurance, who pretty much what they're going to do. They bought up a neighborhood that nobody really wanted.
It was going to the dogs, and that used to be a great neighborhood.
Now, if you live next to it, your value of your house just went up probably.
Sure.
Not only that, you're going to get protection from their police department. You're going to have a little security there.
True.
You're going to have. They're going to pay taxes, even if they get a reassessment. We're still ahead of the game. They're going to probably add, I heard from somebody inside, 600 to 1,000 jobs eventually.
Yes.
I mean, we can't tell them they're not going to do it right now, snap a finger, but long range, I mean, what's not to like about it?
True.
But nobody was outraged when St. Vincent bought up a lot of land up there, nice houses too,
yes.
Under the guise of employees' names and secret companies. Nobody got upset, not even at Times.
He was doing it with that guy from Fairview.
Yeah.
Bought his house and bought that one down there next to the popcorn store on Peach Street.
So I said, I told Mr. Flowers, I said, I'll write you the headline of when we vote against this tonight, how it would sound. It would say something like, council kills multi-million-dollar project. I said, one thing about editorial writers, they can write one day one thing and another thing another day. They flip-flop more than a seal at SeaWorld.
True.
My God, I mean, what do you want, But my other comment was about the studies. Council was outraged when they seen the citizens here, but none of them bothered to call us or the mayor's office. And I told them, I said, you got to call the mayor's office. You got to call us.
You make your voice heard. Don't wait.
Yeah, and call the media and show the media. Have them come out and take pictures.
You don't wait till the horse is out of the barn to close the door.
No, and that's it. It looks like, So, I mean, my comment was, we always intended to go out into the neighborhoods. We didn't know what the right timing would be. And so initially when they set up this war room.
That neighborhood down there.
It looked like when they set up the war room, John, it was designed to get everybody on the same page first. All these studies that, Gannon's got their study and Hammett's got theirs, Erie Insurance has got theirs. Sit them all in one room and get them straightened out. Yeah. Then we intended to go out into the neighborhoods. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
Where would you go?
Well, I think
most of the neighborhood down there, it's gone.
Well, if you look at how Buki laid out by areas, we thought that
every time I hear his name, I want to puke.
Well, we thought the easiest way to do the report I mean, the public input was, if I go to your area, John, okay, or mine, our problems are different than the Lower Bayfront.
Sure is. My street's cracking. They pave in front of the TV station. They pave Holland Street.
Well, not only that, but even the problems like we have problems with rentals and college kids, okay?
Beer cans all over the place.
So what we figured in council, we would divide the city up into like either use the method Buki used by his areas, or we just divide up into by ward or something and go out one night into each area and just have a citizens to be heard type of thing and take notes,
True.
And then find out what do you expect out of your neighborhood and bring people with us to update them as to what we're, just springing it on those people like that. I mean, we don't know as a council. I mean, we're hearing conflicting reports, whether they were told ahead of time or not.
True.
And the bad part is, John, nobody, and I'll put this broadly, this is not targeting anybody specific, but nobody from the administration of this plan has really kept counsel of that. I mean, we've had some meetings, but we need to be a little bit more informed.
But when you got a latent Doc Mayor just counting his days, let's face it.
I mean, we need to know, like, okay, we knew they were going to go in there and do stuff, but I guess we didn't know to the extent they were going to do it.
Right.
And when I went in and inspected, and I did go into the neighborhood, looking at chip paint, well, my God, if they come in, I wonder if they're going to be as aggressive with chip paint in some of the more affluent parts of town.
Well, first of all, I think you have got to set your officer down who does the inspection and draw a line of rules, and he's got to use common sense.
Well, my question is, though, if he can do 1,100, right?
Yeah.
What's the other 5 doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a question that council looked at and go, we just gave them laptops, we just gave them, each one's got a car.
Well.
And if you and I both know, if you drive, all you have to do is drive down any street, right?
Right.
And you could have your notepad out all afternoon.
Well, sure.
I mean, I can see it, and I can't even get the addresses fast enough because, I got traffic behind me.
Well, they've got notepads, they've got a citation book. How many citations have been issued?
Well, here's what we want to do, and this is another thing. Council back early in the year passed a resolution to get the ordinance started that we want quality of life ticketing, which means when we go out and cite now, it's not like we don't give you a citation, then we have to go to the JP and swear it out. We're going to give you one just like a parking ticket that has a numerical value on it that you're right there. And then we're going to have our own JP, like they're doing this in other cities, that answers to us,
True.
And then, because we get, the problem in the city, I hate to use the term blight, that's a general thing, but, we're starting to see little warts everywhere.
Yes.
And you got to start, the time to get down on things is when you got one broken window, not 15.
True. Look how long that guy took to start patching his roof on 12th Street.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps trying, but, at some point in time, you got to say.
Well, you got to run out. He's going to have to run out of money. He's still putting a lot into that.
Well, the problem is if we inherit it, then it's our problem,
True.
That's the other side of the ledger.
Well, one more thing, and then I'll get off.
Go ahead.
I was really interested with your reports at the end of the council meeting where Sonia Arrington said, look, it was full here before, and now everybody's gone.
Right.
Well, everybody was gone because they already knew how you were voting. Too many things are done in that back room, in the caucus room.
But John, we didn't vote on anything that night.
Up front.
John, we didn't vote on anything that night.
No, that was last night, or Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what they were complaining about, we were not voting on, okay?
No.
I mean, Sonia was right about one thing. They sat there and they moaned about, and they brought up good, valid points about the inspector. That thing was passed a long time ago. Just the fact to appoint him.
Yeah.
And after we listened to them, they all bailed out. Okay, they didn't wait for our response.
Well, they knew what your reports were going to be, and they know 99% it's already been settled in the back room? Or
that's not true, John. We're going to have a meeting with them about this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's based on the stuff that we heard. But, we couldn't even tell them that because they all bailed out.
Well, you've already approved the zoning.
Yeah, but that wasn't what they were complaining about, that meeting. They complained about that a couple meetings ago when we had the first, we had
First reading.
The first reading. We even had the public hearing, John. We had a public hearing on that issue. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the people that were here, 90% of them were talking about Aaron Snippert and how he's going about citing them on the lower west side. That's what got Sonia mad, because they all came here complaining about that. We weren't voting on it, but, none of us could respond to them about what we heard.
Well, no. He's doing his job. He's doing it the way he thinks he is.
Yeah, that's what Sonia was mad about, is they all came down here to complain, but then instead of staying when our comments were there, so we could have, thanked them for coming and all that, none of them were there.
Was Zimmerman in there?
I didn't see him.
Was the mayor there?
Well, the mayor never comes to council meetings.
Not anymore.
No.
He did.
Well, I can't blame him, because when he first came, I can remember there was a different council.
On him.
Yeah, look.
And you shouldn't be doing that. You should be addressing the council.
Absolutely. First of all, I learned the first time when I was a city controller, this is council's meeting.
Right.
And, as a courtesy, the mayor, the treasurer, the controller.
Mayor drops in once in a while.
Yeah, and he did try and I will give this, Joe tried.
Doesn't want to look like he's running the council meeting.
Yeah, but, he was Joe was very nice. He sat there, he listened, I can remember at the time, a couple of them had an agenda, and they were, going to use this, and I don't think that's proper. I think, when the head of the city's there and council, this is supposed to be an organized meeting.
Right. You know what I don't think is very respectful?
Where's that?
Council's up there chatting away when somebody's making his presentation.
Well, let me say what happened. I was really, I don't read social media, but somebody pointed out to me, and they had a picture of everybody up there taking notes and having their head down. Well, I got news for them. I'm up here and I can see everybody.
Yeah, they're on their cell phones with text messages and receiving messages.
But during that meeting, when they were talking, what they were doing was, each one was taking notes, which, like Councilman Winarski was next to me, he used those notes when he came up to speak. And a lot of times we use our cell phones because we have pertinent. We could bring our laptops up here, which have the agenda on there. It has a lot of stuff that people are talking about is on there. These pictures and everything. That's what we're doing. A lot of us. That's what I do. Mine is up there.
Chatting going on, and that's not about whatever.
Well, I will chit chat during the meeting. I will like maybe go over to my right and say.
Yeah, I know to your right.
And I'll go to my left with Mr. Witherspoon, and I'll say something to him about, like that's his committee. I think you need to look at that. That's what's going on. I can't speak for everybody what they're doing, but a lot of times it is business, and they're not, when they take notes, like at a meeting like that.
Your meeting's Wednesday, right?
Yeah, not this Wednesday, because this is the.
I don't see anything on the.
It's not this. It's the first Wednesday of the month. The next one. This is a long month. Remember?
Well, you should work 2 or at least 3 out of the weeks then.
Well, the way they set up in the past, John, that's what they did.
You should review that and redo it to every week. Let you guys make your money.
It's valid.
Let's see.
Don't just do things because that's how they did it in the past.
No, they did it because having a meeting every week. A lot of them are very unproductive.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of.
Well, I see Hugo's is torn down now, huh?
Who?
Hugo's Italian restaurant.
Yeah, I forget the Lecom bought it. I think.
Lecom bought it. Another tax-free exemption.
Well, what are you going to do, John? Nobody else. Wally Brown and his sisters, they try their best to develop it down there.
Well, they do good work, I'll say that.
Yeah, they have been trying to market the area.
But, Lecom just got a deal with Mill Creek.
Yeah.
And it was, what, $500,000 for 10 years?
Yep, and I think that's something we got to work on.
That's kind of ridiculous, don't you think?
Well, we got to work on a deal. We don't get anything out of them.
No, last time you got $300,000 for 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah, we want something every year.
That's how it should be. You know, you got to charge service. For any building, you should charge for fire, police protection, water.
Well, we actually do. That's called that $52 a year tax.
But that's not enough.
No, but that's the trouble, John. On the state level, we got to get them to change the rules of third-class cities.
Can't even get their act together.
No, that's true. I better let you go, John.
Okay, have a good one.
So I got a way for us to make a lot of money and get this city out of debt in
What's that?
probably a couple of weeks' time.
What's that?
Build more hotels right before the next eclipse.
Well, actually, Nick Scott is building. Nick Scott has 1 to 2 plan. He actually has one plan, but if you look at his drawings, it shows 2. Yeah, it's coming right to. Yep. Go ahead, caller.
Howdy, Cat.
Good.
I heard you said you're going to set up your own, like a district judge.
Well, one of the plans is that when we looked at what other cities were doing, and you have to get okay from the state on this.
So, are you going to have like some kind of a program?
A what?
Appeal. In other words, if they don't agree with what they're cited for.
Well, we haven't written up the ordinance yet. These are all in the discussion stage. But basically, what we want to do is design an ordinance where we're going to have a land bank, and we're working on that one. That's where we can buy houses under the redevelopment.
Right.
And we can work directly with qualified builders or people, church groups, anything. You know, there's a lot of groups out there that want to get involved. And if we can get the property secured, you know, whether it's volunteer labor or for-profit, we have to start looking at things.
I like Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, well, not only that, there's a group of, a gentleman did my house. He's very involved in a church group. He fixed up my kitchen, and he was telling me how they, as part of their mission, they just go out and they take somebody's house and just renovate it, just.
Let me know who you had to do that, because I'm interested in getting a floor repaired in my house.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk to him about it. I'll ask him if I don't know how they qualify, but it's just
give me a call.
Yeah, and as for the other idea.
It sounded like that group when they met with you at the city council. A lot of them were almost asking you how can they appeal what they were cited for and all that.
And they got a valid point that we probably need an appeal process because like in life, even when you get a parking ticket, you have an appeal process.
Correct, you do.
And what we want to do what we want to do eventually is when our people go out, when they give you a citation, it'll be like a parking ticket. It'll actually be a value affixed to it.
Right.
And it'll be a charge. And we'll have our own, the way they do in other communities, they have their own court system set up. And it's like, it seemed to be working in some of the cities out east. But you have to get, because of third-class city code, you have to get okay from the Commonwealth to do this.
Now, the fund you get from this type of court proceeding, do you have to set up where that fund will go?
Oh yeah, there'll be rules, and I'm sure this is why we've been trying to get the solicitor's office to start looking at the other communities, how they do it, what state law says we can do.
I would suggest if you can, if it's not against the rules, maybe make this fund available for those who cannot normally afford to upgrade or fix what needs to be fixed. Funds from which they can draw, maybe even with interest.
Yeah, that makes sense because then you're kind of taking care of blight with blighted problems.
So that would basically, in other words, you got to have some kind of a pool in which some of these people can draw from that isn't necessarily a banking business that they pay. You got to go through all this evaluation process to meet the criteria.
We got to do better. We have to.
Even if this is a fund that maybe some of these groups, church groups or whatever, can draw from to pay for the material or whatever when they go to repair a house for somebody.
Well, I agree with you. Our problem is communication. There's like some of the groups like Best and all them, they have some grant programs. and they do the best they can, dealing with their limited resources. We got to help those groups, like the ones that secure grants for renovation and stuff. We have to do a better job, and I'm hoping, going forward that we use the city's website, we use this TV station, we use the media a lot better,
One of the things, too, that was brought up during that, I was listening to it over on the TV when you're having your council meeting. Some of them brought up the issue that the language in which these citations are written, and it's in English, of course, but some of these people that are being cited don't fully have English as a language. It might be the third or fourth language, so you need to have somebody to help clarify that with them. I don't know how you can go about doing that unless you have somebody knowing that the people living in this house maybe don't speak English, and have maybe somehow another person to explain it to them.
Well, I can tell you the language barrier problem is very expensive. Mm-hmm. Like in the school district, when they have to send out notices, nobody does it for free, not even the International Institute. And the amount of money they charge for interpreters, you take even a simple situation like our officers here arrest somebody. Okay? Well, they don't speak all the languages in the world out there. We have some officers trained in certain languages. We have certain employees that have certain skills. But, when it comes down to actually, let's say they make an arrest. They have to arrest them, give them their rights in English. Okay? And then I'm sure they have to bring them down here and then try to determine their ethnicity and then call the International Institute, bring down an interpreter, which we have to pay for, not free, and then do the whole thing again, So, it would be nice if the groups that bring in these immigrants would kind of help us with some of the language barriers.
That might be an issue then that the city council needs to formulate some kind of way of dealing with it, so that it doesn't form an expense on, even if it's not city council. Let's say somebody that files a complaint against a neighbor that doesn't speak English. Well, what does he do? Does he have to go pay for an interpreter to explain to that neighbor what he did wrong or why he's upset with them? You need to have somehow a way to get that language barrier crossed.
Well, go to the blood bank. They got a thing on the wall. It has it in 20 different languages. It basically tells you if you got a problem, you got to tell us ahead of time. Yeah. And then they got to find some way of bringing somebody down. And, the whole thing is, and then you got to have the people bonded because you're dealing with sensitive issues.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when I was on the school board, what I wanted to do was, I know it's complicated, but I wanted to take some of our students and maybe, give them a small stipend compared to what we pay the interpreters and, have them do the, working on, like, how do you send a note home?
Yeah.
Without people tell you, well, just go on the computer and type in this, but sometimes a computer does not pick up the nuances,
right? And
you wind up insulting somebody because you don't understand the whole language,
Yeah.
Now, you could maybe, considering that idea, why not have some of these college students that are majoring in communications of languages, like for working at the United Nations or someplace, be an internship there, so that they they're available on a police force or with the city inspectors or whatever it might be, the interpreter. Couldn't take them to, knowing that they're going in an area that the language could be a problem. Maybe use them as an internship there to help them hone their skills and to, help them understand.
Yeah, no one's ever come to like council. None of the appropriate people have ever said it's a huge issue. But I'd be interested in, like we can handle around here. There's enough people qualified to speak Spanish or French, Polish, Italian. We got all them covered. Yeah. But a lot of the new languages are a little rougher, and it's something I'd like to explore and maybe find out, how we can cut our expenses a little bit.
Well, I think there's I think it's an Evans up at Mercyhurst. he deals with the international students that come up to get Mercyhurst there.
Yeah.
He might be one to talk to about some ideas too.
Right.
All right. Well, hey, I want to let you know you handled that very well. I have to commend you for the way you handled that city council meeting, and like that John indicated, that commentary you had at the end. I really thought that was well thought out, and you do an excellent job of presenting your argument and your side of your view. I think you were real good at that. So,
thank you.
I commend you to being a good president of the city council for this session. So,
and I'll get you on that committee too. But if we can find, once we get real serious about it, because you work with some churches, we can see what we can do with, volunteerism and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, and a lot of churches today are hurting for help with membership. That might be a way. Maybe they can increase some of their church membership too.
Yeah, and some, if we can help them, increase their mission, that'd be even better.
They need some areas in which they can. They're always looking for some way of evangelism or in ministries. So maybe learning to communicate, helping the people who don't speak English very well, be able to receive the help they need, and to.
Not to mention the elderly out there that they don't have the funds either.
Well, that's correct, and you and I are getting up in that category. You know that.
Not me. You are. I'm okay.
Elderly.
I'll see you.
It's hard to believe, isn't it, Cash?
Yep.
Hey, I hope you had a wonderful anniversary. And
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I did. I was trying to think now. That was a little while ago, not too long though.
Not too long ago. We're together in that area. You remember?
Yeah,
that?
you were like 2 weeks or.
Yep, 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, just lately, my wife lost her dad, so it was kind of a sad. We're going through a little bit of a period of grief ourselves right now. But I think it's something that I keep in tune with what you do, and Matt, and I appreciate you as a friend and with the wonderful leadership you do present. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Is that DJ with you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, DJ, you keep them up there. There's a little winder in the back there. You keep them wound up that way.
Okay.
Hey, God bless you guys, and thanks a lot for letting me call. I'll let somebody else call.
Okay.
You too.
What do you got?
The one thing I wanted to bring up was that the Labor Day parade is coming up Monday.
Yeah.
Next Monday. We're going to be live. So if anybody can't make it out to the Labor Day parade, feel free to watch it on our channel.
Is that on that drawing?
No, I got to talk to the planners upstairs.
So you're going to be televising it?
Yeah. We'll be live. Cable company's going to drop a cable for us. We hook in. Got 3 cameras. We're good. Channel 2.
Cat TV.
Meow. That's about all I got. I got a list of stuff here for Paul. I have to go talk to him.
Well,
things are going pretty good.
A pretty good show. We got
a
few good questions.
Good questions. Good callers.
This is why I think we need more advisory committees.
Yeah.
People that are clear thinkers.
Well, that leaves me out.
Well, no, I mean, a lot of times, like when we deal with business people, we don't always know why businesses won't. I mean, it looks obvious, but is there a way we can bring businesses to the city? Not to Mill Creek.
Yeah.
To the city. What is the problem? What is it that you like? What is it that you would? A lot of times when I walk out there and I talk to them, and they'll say they weren't even aware that we have loan funds or things we can do for them.
Well, that's it. We got to make up a list of what we have to offer.
Well, you take the Dairy Queen on Pine Avenue. He took advantage of a loan we had.
Yeah.
Brightened it up, expanded it just a little bit. And other businesses have done the same thing. And those are the things that I don't think a lot of people know.
What this city needs is, if we're not going to be doing a lot of industrial stuff, then we need more touristy stuff. So that's what we need to maybe focus on. We need to get more stuff that's going to drive more traffic year round. And as soon as your traffic numbers are up, you're going to get businesses clamoring to get into the city.
Well, we were talking about like the new, development. People are saying they hope that when we do develop the GF site, which is, it's really not our baby, but we'll have some input into it.
Yeah.
I think the average, Joe Q public, as I call them, they want to see things people can do.
Yeah.
Restaurants, bars.
Yeah.
And, not just bars, but
not just
but restaurants.
That's what Erie needs. Is
something
more
a little
bars.
different. Like
we need more bars, more gas stations.
When I say this, it'd be nice to have a place where you can get a meal.
Yeah.
Sit out there in the terrace.
Yeah.
Like they call them tiki bars. You're looking out the lake,
sure.
or the bay,
Yeah.
having a drink, maybe some entertainment.
Well, seriously,
and those are things that people, look at and they say, that's what we want.
What are you going to do in the wintertime? Because you can't sit out on the terrace in the wintertime.
Then you go inside.
We need some indoor.
How come, I'll ask you this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you some cities. Ready?
Okay.
Let's see.
I can't read that.
Chicago.
Okay, Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Up north?
Toronto.
Right. How about this one?
So you're going to ask me what all these have in common?
Here. Now, how about this one? Because I've been there.
Minneapolis.
Yeah. Now.
I've heard of that place.
Now, what do they all have in common that we got?
Water?
Snow.
Snow. Well, water makes snow.
And cold.
And cold.
And they don't just, okay, yeah, you're not going to sit on the roof in Minneapolis in winter, okay?
Yeah.
But you're going to be, life doesn't end there in Minneapolis either, okay? So, but, one thing about Erie, I was sitting out there one day with a gentleman from out east.
Yeah.
And he goes, you have a gold mine here. He said, it's just gorgeous. He said, I'd almost be persuaded to live here.
Almost.
Well, meaning if, he has a job and everything, but he said, and a lot of people, when they come here from out east, they think we're Eskimos, and they think it's all, what's on the other side of the Commonwealth?
Yeah.
When they get here and they see the lake and the bay, and they go, well, that's not as big as the lake as I thought. I said, because it's not the lake.
Yeah, that's just the bay.
Well, where's the lake? I said, on the other side of that land spit.
Yeah.
And what's on the other side? Canada.
Canada.
Canada? I'd say, Canada, the country.
Yeah.
And
the country.
And they see the sailboats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they go, wow, and this guy's eating out the court there by Marriott.
Yeah.
And he's going, this is great. He says, and
so
I said, well, wait.
On that?
And I said, wait till we develop this part of the land here. And you got something you can do at night too, besides just sit here.
I guess we need a solid plan. I mean, because you say, wait till we do this and wait till we do this. I need to know when these things are
Well, see, it's not under our control, the development of it, but we need to force, people need to press Erie events. That's the convention center.
Yeah.
And Nick Scott, he's got his own project on the other side he's planning.
He's got to get something down here like Splash Lagoon.
Well, he's doing some on the east side. That's his baby.
Okay.
You probably won't see Splash Lagoon there, but...
There's got to be something indoor related.
But Nick will put it, if it'll make money, Nick will put it.
Yeah.
Okay? Wow. And, the whole thing is, when you look at all that, and you say, well, what are you going to do in winter? Well, you don't worry about winter, because you know what? The summers are nice, right?
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, well, I've seen people go down to, try to think, smugglers, go down and have a nice sandwich at night, and, it's not going to be maybe as great, but why do we hide? Nick talked about putting a ice skating rink in down there.
Yeah.
Wow. Think of, why would they put an ice skating rink in a town that's in the north? You go to Pittsburgh, they don't close up, right?
Yeah.
They got down there PPG Square, I think it's there. Mm-hmm. They got this, they build like an ice rink around this fountain or monument.
Yeah.
And the kids from the colleges come down and rent skates out if they don't have them.
Yeah.
No charges.
Yeah.
The skates are a charge if you don't have them.
Yeah.
They have a stand for hot chocolate and you skate around.
Let's do it.
Why do we hide down here?
Yeah.
We know winter's coming, But I think, like even in a GF site, I'm hoping that in the public park area they have, that they make provision to be able to flood it. How about if you could flood the front of the convention center? that grassy area in front there.
Yeah.
Just for something nice for the public to do.
Sure.
Like at your work and you decide, hey, you know what, I got half an hour.
Yeah.
Come down and ice skate. Put up a skate concession stand.
Yeah.
We don't ever,
Yeah.
It's like winter kind, we hike.
No, there's no point. I mean, we're going to have to make it something that people want to come and experience.
Do you remember First Night Erie?
No, I was not.
That was a big thing they had all across the country. New Year's Eve, they had what they call a non-alcoholic celebration all across the countries.
Wow.
Big cities were doing this.
Yeah.
We piggybacked off like Buffalo or something.
Right.
Kind of like what they do in Pittsburgh when they have light up night.
Yeah.
They light up the whole city.
That's the kind of stuff we need to do.
The big buildings light up, and
Yeah.
you walk around. They have stands set up.
Yep.
It's kind of like Celebrate Erie in winter.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
And I remember we could go into, we could watch a Philharmonic in the Warner for free. We'd go see a ballet production in the Erie Insurance Building.
Yep.
They had a warming station set up at the time the Boston store wasn't open. They opened it,
Yeah.
And I'm going, all of a sudden they didn't care about the cold. It was all right,
Yeah. Well, let's take off. We could talk more about that next week because I have a number of things that I would like to.
Will I see you next week?
I think you probably will. I'm probably going to be in town till January.
That's
And
okay.
We're
keep you
over on time. I will not be here next week. It's Labor Day. That's right.
Oh,
the
that's
parade.
right. We have to announce, right? There will be no show next week.
That's right. It'll just be a repeat of us not getting dates right.
Due to a holiday, and all employees will be gone here.
Yes. And
you'll
probably see them in the parade, like Kaz. He'll be in the parade like 3 separate groups. He goes down one, and then he runs up, and he gets in another group, and he comes down, puts another hat on, comes down, does the third.
That way.
Well, we will see
it's
you.
The old army guy in me that I can still do it.
Well, okay then.
So I pull my muscle or something.
Yeah.
But see you in 2 weeks then?
2 weeks.
Okay.
I'll have lots to talk about.
There you go. Adios.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.